Welcome to week 9 for interpersonal communication. You all seem to be coming along nicely with the content of this class, and I appreciate your dedication and commitment to the material that we have going on. For this week, you have your first real big assignment. It's worth a couple of 100 points, and I just kind of wanted to give you a quick overview of that because I'm sure you'll have some questions. It's called a personal contract, and that's what you see here. This is a rubric for this particular assignment. So when you click on assignments, when you click on this one, this comes up, and you can go through and see what's expected of you. So I'm going to go through and scroll through this and talk about what's going on. It gets into the outcomes. That's our course learning objectives here. I'll let you go through and read through those. I won't burden you with that. Point value is 200 points. This is 20% of your grade. Let me get into the description of this, okay? And the whole point of this then is to kind of synthesize what we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks in terms of the self and perception, things like that. Here I've written discover your self-concept. Remember, there's 3 things to that: how you see yourself, how you think others might perceive you, and how others might actually see you, okay? This requires you to take a personal inventory of your strengths, your virtues, weaknesses, vices, values, beliefs, opinions, attitudes, and all this stuff is found in your open and hidden panes of the Johari window, okay? You also need to talk with somebody who's close to you and ask how they perceive you based on that inventory, okay? Now, you don't turn that into me. That's your inventory. All right, just so you're clear on that. That belongs to you. That doesn't come to me. Secondly, you need to read the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. All right, that's this one here. My window won't let me go down, but you can find it on Amazon, The Four Agreements. You can get an audio version for $5.15, paperback for $7.77. So if you haven't picked that up yet, shame on you, because you need that for the class. So make sure you read The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I'll come back to that a little bit later in the semester. Next, outline the agreements that you've made that you would like to break. Ruiz talks about in the first chapters of the book that we're born into the dream of the planet. And part of that dream of the planet, and that sounds kind of good, dreaming's always good, right? But here he's saying, nah, not so much. We're born into agreements that have already been made for us, okay? And there's certain agreements that have been made for you that you will want to break after reading the 4 agreements. Remember the 4 agreements? Be impeccable with your word, never assume, don't take anything personally, and always do your best, right? Well, in order to do those, there are some agreements that we've already made that might undercut never assuming or not taking anything personally, or being impeccable with our words. So there's a restructuring there that kind of needs to happen with that. So outline those agreements that you want to break. Your hidden pain has agreements that allow you to discount your self-worth or maybe your companions. Your blind pain might have old habits that can interfere with the way you communicate. So then outline the agreements that you want to make that can help you reach your interpersonal competency and personal freedom. And I'll make this easy for you. Those agreements will be the 4 agreements, because under being impeccable with your word, never assuming, not taking anything personally, and always doing your best, any agreement that you make can probably dovetail into one of those 4 main agreements. All right? So take a look and see how that can be customized towards your needs, towards what you need to do. And then lastly, and this is what I'd like you to turn in on this assignment thread, is draft your personal contract indicating your discoveries and agreements. This document should demonstrate your understanding of agreements, the self-concept, and the Johari window. And by contract, I mean literally a contract. This is something that I want you to sign. This is a contract you're making with yourself. It is a set of agreements, like the 4 agreements, but I want you to print this up and have it with you at your bedside or stuck into what you study on a regular basis, you know, to have it there to go through and influence you. The rubric then goes through, this is how it's graded, okay? Number 1, your contract represents self-discoveries based on your own inventory, what you believed others' opinions were about yourself, and how you learn about yourself through the disclosure of others. You don't have to write about that specifically. In fact, here under exemplary, right here, okay, this is how you score the most points. You conceptualize the 3 aspects of the self-concept theory, and if you click on that, that'll take you to the video that talks about it, okay? With the concepts of the agreements of being impeccable with your word, take nothing personally, assuming nothing interpersonally. Then you include that with your discoveries through the perception process and through the disclosure of others who are close to you, people that you've asked to disclose about you to you. All right? You could read, where the other points fall if you decide not to do that. So there's exemplary, satisfactory, and below expectation in terms of how this rubric works. Number 2, your contract reflects your understanding of Ruiz's idea of agreements. And that happens in the first couple of chapters in The Dream of the Planet, okay? As with item 1 on this rubric, as I'm reading here, you synthesize 3 aspects of the self-concept or the first 3 agreements of Ruiz's concepts there, okay? So how you see yourself, how others see you, how you think others see you, tie into being impeccable with your word, never assuming, and always doing your best. And that, again, you can find that here under self-concept theory, all right? All right. Number 3, the personal contract reflects your understanding of the self-concept when we get into the Johari window as well. Well, that's number 4 here. Again, all these tie back to the hot links that I have embedded in here. Number 5, then, your contract reflects your understanding of the vulnerability and the risks of being seen. This goes back to the Brene Brown TED Talk. You might need to take a look at that before you go through and respond to these things. So what I'm expecting you to turn in for this assignment is a little contract. There are even some contract templates that are out there in word processing that you could use, and you just go through and fill that in, okay? And that's kind of impersonal. I want you to go through and structure something that helps you. You're not writing this for me. You're writing this for you, because what you're doing here with this personal contract, by making these agreements with yourself, is you're committing to being a better communicator. You're committing to be a better listener. You're committing to go through and understand perceptual influences and how you see people, and you're committing to go through and stop judging people, especially those who are close to you. All right? If you have any questions about this assignment, I'm sure you will, you know where to find me. All right? You can put them up in the discussion, ask me anything, so we can all benefit from your curiosity, or you can feel free to message me directly. All right? Good luck.